Hey, Anne here from Backroad Buddies, and the video we want to share with you today is about Doolin and the Cliffs of Moher in Ireland. To get your bearings, this is the country of Ireland, and Doolin and the Cliffs of Moher are over here on the west coast, almost due west of Dublin. Now we were coming from Dingle, which was way down here, so on our drive up to Doolin, we made a stop just before we get to the town of Tralee. There's another town called Blennerville, which has a nice windmill and museum, so we went and checked that out. And then we had lunch in Tralee, and then we came up and we actually took the ferry here to cross this little bay at the town of Tarbert. That cut off some distance and avoided the traffic in the city of Limerick, and then we just kind of came up the coast there to Doolin. Now here's a closer view of the area around Doolin. So Doolin is here. The Cliffs of Moher experience is over here. Actually, the Cliffs of Moher kind of goes all along the coast here, but you can't access all parts of it. And then the Aran Islands are out here. Now we spent 3 nights in Doolin. Then on the following night, we actually took a ferry over to Inishmore and spent a night there, and then came back and spent one more night in Doolin. So this video isn't going to cover Inishmore. We'll cover that in our next video. So our first full day that we were here, we actually went over and checked out the Cliffs of Moher, and so we could see the cliffs from the top. Then we came back and we actually went on a little hike right from Doolin up along the coast. And the cliffs aren't quite as high here, but we found it very enjoyable hike there. And then the second full day we checked out the Burren. So the Burren is this whole area which is known for just a lot of expanses of limestone karst. And so we went for a drive. We kind of came down. There's a town right here which has a Burren Visitor Centre, so we checked that out, and there's also cathedral ruins there with some high crosses, so we also checked that out. And then we drove by Limina Castle ruins and then drove by Cairn Church. So in between these two there's Caherconnell Stone Fort, which has a nice little visitor center and a little video to watch, and just you can kind of explore the stone fort on your own. So that was interesting. And then we came up and checked out the Poulnabrone Dolmen, which is an ancient tomb, and there's a lot of limestone karst there that you can just walk out and explore on, so we did that there as well. And then we just kind of continued our drive, went up Corkscrew Hill here, and then returned back to Doolin. Now here's an even closer view of Doolin. The actual town is officially up here. We were staying in the Doolin Inn, which was about in here, and there's along this road here is another group of restaurants and hotels. So that was a nice easy walking distance. We actually walked up here too to go to Fitz's pub. But then down here is the Doolin port, and that's where we caught the ferry over to Inishmore. Now on the way back we had included what's called the Cliffs of Moher cruise, so we didn't even have to get off the boat and we could go take a cruise along the Cliffs of Moher. But the forecast looked like the weather might be bad, so at the end of when we were done going through the Burren, we actually booked another cruise that evening and just did the Cliffs of Moher cruise. So we actually did it twice. But it was nice and sunny the first time. Second time it started out cloudy, but the sun did come out, but the water was a little rougher, but we still enjoyed doing it twice. And then came back and had dinner in town. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Doolin and the Cliffs of Moher, Ireland.
Wave through her long soft hair, faces just stop and stare, catching no light. So I hold you close, no matter where you go, through all the rain and snow, I'll be close behind. And I hold on, these threads won't come undone. If you hold down, I'll carry you home. Holes in my shoes, walking in lines we drew. You said you're just passing through, and 6 years have gone. So I hold on, these threads won't come undone. If you hold down, I'll carry you home. So I hold on, these threads won't come undone. If you hold down, I'll carry you home. Clothes on my back, it's yours if it's all I have. I meant every word I said, I'll carry you home. Summer air, wave through her long soft hair, faces just stop and stare, catching no light. So I hold you close, no matter where you go, through all the rain and snow, I'll be close behind. And I hold on, these threads won't come undone. If you hold down, I'll carry you home. My shoes, walking in lines we drew. You said you're just passing through, and 6 years have gone. So I hold on, these threads won't come undone. If you hold down, I'll carry you. clothes on my back. It's yours if it's all I have. I meant every word I've said. I'll carry you home.
Thanks for watching. If you want more details about our experiences, look in the description below for a link to our related blog posts, so check that out. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Ta-ta for now.